All right, not looking the greatest, but we'll try and flush it out and see what happens.
Welcome back to Living with a Classic, and we have this beautiful Mark II here again. It was in the shop a month or so ago. It's in there every now and then. It is the customer's daily driver, and we keep fixing small things on it. It wasn't a daily driver before we bought it. It was, used like these mostly are, which is not too much. And the more you drive it, the more things happen. The last time, remember, it wouldn't stop and it really wouldn't go. Brakes have been good since I rebuilt the master and all that. He says they felt great. And it still has gone perfectly. What I've been doing at the moment is we just done all the coolant hoses because when it was here last time, I noticed that some of them are really bad. So I just replaced all of those. I'm actually going to fill up the coolant system pretty soon. However, I thought you guys would like to see the other thing. If you remember last time, it wouldn't go because the fuel filter was extremely plugged. I've never seen such a plugged fuel filter. And now he doesn't drive very far. He doesn't have a long commute to work, and that's really what he uses it for. I thought we would take the fuel filter off. I have another new one. Let's just see what it looks like. And he actually, for once, I have a customer that listens to me because I tell people, if your car is coming into a shop, this is good for you guys to know, if you're bringing your car to a shop and they're going to work on carbs and things and trying to tune it up, have gas in it, like fuel. That does help because otherwise I need to go drive somewhere with a jerry can, get fuel, put it in there, and it's just a hassle. Or if you're asking me to replace a fuel sender or something like that, or another mechanic, don't show up with a full tank of fuel. And he did the right thing. He rode in on here on fumes, but he had a jerry can with fuel next to him if he ran out, which is perfect because I told him if the filter looks really bad, I'm going to have to drain the tank and have a look. Just looking down the filler, it looks really nice and clean, but you never know. I have a feeling that the tank was redone not that long ago, maybe a new tank, but the filter, I think that wasn't replaced in a really long time. So let's get to the filter in here. I'll show you guys some of the hoses as well I've been doing, and we'll see what the filter looks like after about a month and a half of use. Battery's charging too because when he was going to drive it here for the first time in his ownership, it wouldn't start. It was a flat battery. He had the recovery service come out and they gave him a jump, and then he drove here. What I noticed when it came here is I was sitting in the car. I checked the battery voltage was low. It was just like 11 point something volts. It still started up, but then I'll turn it off and I was like, I'm hearing voices. And I had to look inside. I'm doing a little electrical thing as well. I noticed that the radio was on, but on the lowest. And he said he never listened to the radio. So I think when he adjusted his heater controls or something, he must have bumped the radio and had that on. And that is why he had a battery drain. But I'm charging up the battery. Once it's charged, we'll do a test of the battery. And I'm going to test the charging system as well. Make sure that all of that is fine. Behind the dash, I'm just having a look at the headlights are a little bit glitchy. So I'm cleaning up that switch and making sure everything's fine behind there. But the fuel filter is right down there. So I'm going to disconnect the battery charger, of course, put that away. Battery is disconnected. I'll set up you guys in the camera. We'll take that filter out, see what it looks like, and then we'll grab a new one to put in. Hopefully that one isn't too dirty. Let us see here. This should all come off pretty nicely because it wasn't on there for too long. So this wasn't on there very long, so it should come off pretty easily. And the car hasn't run in more than a day. So you see some of the fuel has gone down here a little bit, so it shouldn't really get any drips. And these are glass, so you want to be a little careful with them. Here we go. And there's a bit of sediment in the bowl. I'm going to go put the filter actually out in the sun because it's really nice outside right now. And I'll have it dry up and then we can see what it looks like inside in a little bit. But I am seeing a bit of dirt in here. So I don't know. Maybe we will put an extra filter somewhere. I haven't really decided. But let's put this away and see what it looks like in a while. There is a bit of muck inside there. It's hard to see, but we'll go over here to this light. And There's about 8 millimeters of junk in the bottom of there. And I've looked inside the tank a little bit more. I opened up the fuel sender, and well, there's a bit of rust in there.
So yeah, there's your problem. Tank looks fine everywhere else. It's just a little rusty in there. It's not leaking or anything, so this has a drain on it. I think we'll open it up. We'll try and flush it out, see if that can help. Otherwise, let the owner know that we may need to remove the tank and have it flushed out of the vehicle. But we'll try sort of an in-vehicle flush first. The fuel filter is doing its job, and the carbs aren't getting dirty or anything, so that's really good. But yeah, the sender and everything is quite dirty. But let me get some things out, and we'll start draining the bottom of the tank. The empty fuel light is on, so I'm hoping that there's not too much in the tank, but I have a couple jerry cans, a couple drape pans here, so we'll see. Ooh, it's rusty and brown. That's looking more fresh. Stuff coming out now. Okay, there's a screen here. It actually looks pretty good, so that takes the worst of it, I guess. Yeah, suction pipe is out there. We'll let this drain. We'll have a look. This was a perfectly clean pan when I started, so we can see what that looks like. There's quite a bit of rust in there. It's good that that came out of there. Let me see what I'm going to flush it with. I do have, like, one way to do it would be to filter this out. I do have a funnel with a filter. It filters that and pours this back in. You use that to flush it with. We'll see what it looks like inside now. Here is all that with the screen. Interesting thing is I grabbed a few of these from NextJ, and they're the same. So that could be a nice modification to add an XJ one, if you can move this filter screen over or get a filter screen from an XJ, and then you can actually drain the tank a little easier. But yeah, we'll clean this up in my parts washer, have a look inside the tank now, and decide what we're going to do. All right, not looking the greatest, but we'll try and flush it out and see what happens. This is what is left in the pan. So I'll flush it a couple times and we'll see how clean it gets. Second flush. I'm glad there's a lot coming out because that is a good sign. And if we have a look inside the tank now, that's looking pretty good. So I'll do a couple more times and we'll see what the end result is. Fuel system is back together in the back and it looked really clean the last fuel I took out. But have a look at this. I saved everything that came out, and that's quite a bit. It's amazing the tank doesn't look rusty inside the rest of it. So I also checked up top, so that's odd, but it's not leaking. And like I said, customer will drive for a little bit and we'll come back and we'll recheck the fuel filter. If it still gets really dirty, I'll recommend that we pull the tank. This is what was in the fuel filter. Looked inside one of the carbs, they're still really clean inside. So at least the fuel filter is doing a really good job. That's together with a new filter in there. So hook up the battery, we'll prime everything up, check for leaks. I need to fill up coolant as well. And then we'll fire it up, and I just want to see if it's charging. That's sort of the last thing. I've had the battery on charge. It's pretty much charged. And then tomorrow I can go for a little bit of a test drive and make sure that everything is nice and tight in the coolant system. Let's turn on the ignition. See if we just wait for the pump to finish building pressure. And I'm just gonna double check that there are no leaks. No leaks, probably just a little bit more to fill in the carbs, but everything is nice and dry here. I also have It's not completely fully charged, but we're 12.2. Just make sure that it goes up and I can continue charging it. I didn't have a charger on while messing with the fuel system, of course, so probably leave it charging a little bit more tomorrow. But let's just fire it up now. I can start bleeding the cool system at least, start getting it circulating, and see if it charges. Let's see. There we go. It is showing that it's charging here, which is good. Let's go out and have a look. Yep, 13.4, 13.5. I'm going to connect up my top-down tester here, which will put a load on the alternator and check some things. Just going through a test now. Alright, I need 2 hands for this. Alright, give me a second and I go through the test and then I'll show you guys the results. Alright, charging test normal. Loaded 13.7, unloaded 13.75. That's really good. And I printed out a little receipt as well. I can add to the service records of the car, and then I'll do a battery test. There we go, choke turned off. I'll do a battery test when everything is fully charged tomorrow. But that's really, really good. So the charging issue, or why it wouldn't start for him, was most likely just that he had the radio on and he wasn't aware of that. I'm going to make sure that the heat is turned on, and I'll let this thing run for a little bit and circulate through, and then tomorrow continue burping it. It's getting kind of late at the moment, but I just really wanted to get it going and see how it worked. Well, just meant for a good test drive, and everything seems fine. I also did, of course, a pressure test on the fuel, not fuel system, I mean on the cooling system. Make sure it's all nice and tight, and it is. Just fixed a couple of small things I've seen around it, and the customer can pick it up tomorrow. So next time I see the car, because he's fixing stuff every now and then, and regularly having it checked over, so I'll check the fuel filter next time. Still see a bunch of dirt in there. I'm gonna recommend that we remove the tank and flush it outside the car, but I think we got most of it out, and my guess it might not be from the tank. It might be from like a bad jerry can or something, just because inside of the tank is really clean compared to what we got out of it. So that is a little bit odd. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed seeing this Mark II back here. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Till next time, I'm Adam. This is Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.